So, I made a video on my other channel, and it was funny. It was just interesting because this guy left this random comment, and I guess it was my job to research, vet, understand, and know the context of every comment that somebody leaves. I guess I could have just left his comment alone and then, that seems kind of weird, and not responded. That's probably the best move 99.9% of the time, but it just seems strange. And sometimes some jokes aren't funny. And I remember I had a friend once, and look, I like true comedy and true humor, but you can always tell when somebody has mega respect for you. They will always be in your court. They're never going to be so like if somebody easily turns on you, you know that they're not chill. Like people that easily turn or just don't admit, hey, I kind of came across a little rude, or maybe I should explain myself. That is a hallmark of not being a chill person, you know? And I've noticed this with men because I don't see women do this. Like I never see women I don't ever see women go to men's videos and leave jokes that are out of context because I know, and this is not like a feminist versus the non-feminist position, but I just don't see women leaving weird comments like some guys do. And it's guys of a certain age that think it's okay to leave. I don't know, but who cares? Like apparently we're supposed to know exactly what every joke is, but guess what? It's okay. This is the irony at the end of the day. Your freedom, and this is talking all about the 4th of July again, your freedom to tell any kind of joke or to have any kind of sense of humor ends where another person's right to feel comfortable begins. And I've believed this for a long time, like especially when it comes to social media. Like there are some people out there who think that they have the right to say and do whatever they want. Look, you can have freedom of speech of all you want on your channel, but I guess like for me in the future, if somebody leaves a weird joke, I'm not going to spend like 10,000 years researching your meaning. I'm just going to kind of look for a pattern. And there's a little bit of a pattern, like if you in general just have a certain I see like a certain pattern with comments that you leave, I'm not going to think, oh wow, like you have the best intention. And yeah, I'm not going to think that. I'm just going to think, you kind of like to leave certain types of comments. But these conservative guys that do that, they like to be kind of a little bit, I don't know, just ruder to certain people. We just don't have to acknowledge them. This is why I do believe, like on your own channel, you have a right. And I know, some of the conservative people don't like this, but you have every right to delete comments that don't because everybody has a right to have a social media presence. It's 2025. Everybody has a right to be online. Everybody has a right to feel safe online, respected, and they just do, okay? Everybody has the right to those feelings. I just think it's not our jobs. Even if you were just making a joke, sometimes context matters. If you feel comfortable leaving certain kinds of comments without context, expecting that everybody's supposed to get your meaning, that's kind of a you problem. And I've noticed that with some conservative guys, and this needs to be said on the 4th of July, because I know the Trump crowd, they love their freedom of speech, but they don't like freedom of speech for other people. They don't like it when you question something or point out that kind of came across rude. You're not supposed to have those feelings. Your feelings don't really have a lot of validity. And I hate to make it all about Trump again, but it kind of is. With these pro-Trump people, your feelings don't have a lot of validity, because if you don't get every joke that they make, you don't have a sense of humor. And even if other people saw their comment, and it's just interesting. But hey, you can have a sense of humor, but I also think joking too should kind of be when you have a rapport with someone. Like if you just come to someone's video and you write jokes out of context, it's kind of weird. Like I don't do that on people's videos. Like I've never gone to somebody's video and wrote a joke out of context. It's weird. It doesn't make me think you're funny. It just makes me think you're kind of cringy, and then you insist that I'm supposed to say things your way. And the hallmark of this on July 4th with some conservative guys, they love to tell women that they're stuck up. Oh, as if they're not. That's rude, okay? As if sticking up for yourself is being stuck up. Oh, that is a thing. Let's talk about this. Let's unpack this. So you have the right to freedom of speech too. And if you stick up for yourself, so sticking up for yourself with these guys equals being stuck up. That's funny. Oh, we didn't know what joke you were referencing. And we're supposed to apologize and be humble and just accept any joke you made. But this is when you know somebody was never your real fan, or they don't really like your channel for real reasons, like a real genuine reason. Because if you said something like, hey, that's not cool, and they get very defensive about it, I'm like, sometimes jokes are just not cool. And I've noticed this with men, especially like more conservatively men. I personally do think that I have a sense of humor, okay? But I don't always get every joke that certain guys make. Like, I don't get every single joke that certain guys make. Like, they're just not my cup of tea. And there will be some guys that lean more right, more conservative, and they get really offended. Like if you don't get their joke. Like if you don't get their joke, then you don't have a sense of humor all of a sudden, or you are stuck up all of a sudden. But I don't believe that's the case. I think if we're going to talk about freedom of speech, this is how freedom of speech works. You can have your own YouTube channel. You can write any kind of content you want for that channel, script it, film it. If YouTube were to take down your videos, that is going to be an obstruction of freedom of speech. But people that have their own YouTube channels, they can have any kind of comment policy that they want. And at this point, I'm just not here to research every person's joke. Like if your jokes are out of context, or they just, like if you're going to just leave some random joke that just seems kind of weird, and then it's not like you say that I'm the one that somehow failed because I didn't somehow see what your sense of humor was, I'm just going to be like, you know what, let's just delete the comment. It's not even worth it. But at the end of the day, like, why is that okay? I don't know, but it's interesting. It really is. So we will talk more about it in the future, I guess. But the 4th of July should be about liberal people also knowing that they're patriotic, American, they have a voice. Sticking up for yourself is part of freedom of speech. We don't have to accept like jokes that conservative people make. They don't get, like, conservative people don't have hegemony over patriotism. Yeah, we're all Americans too, and that's the thing. I know some people that support MAGA forgot that, but yeah, liberals are patriotic too, not just conservatives. And my dad actually served in the military. A lot of conservative guys, like Trump, they were draft dodgers. My dad was in Vietnam. You know, I think about that. It's interesting that a lot of the people that lean more progressive, more left, they actually served in the military. You know, they weren't like getting a way out. Like, I think that's interesting too, you know? And they talk about patriotism. It's not like back in 1992 when George Bush Sr. was saying Clinton was a draft dodger, because since Bush Jr., we haven't really had any presidents. that served in the military, like, so like the old school, like, because a lot of times you would have people like Eisenhower that would go on to be president that had served in the military, Kennedy, like several different presidents. But now, like, you have these conservatives, and like they have all these comments about like supporting the US military, but like there's a lot of people that are actual veterans with very progressive viewpoints. But anyway, I digress. I'm just like, at the beginning of the day, end of the day, if you're so funny and your sense of humor is that amazing, then be like adult enough to realize sometimes maybe your sense of humor wasn't that funny. Not everything you say is going to be funny. Sometimes people don't have good jokes. I'm just saying. Thanks for watching.